movement. He said journalists should not do bidding for other people.
On the 16th of June, AR have issued a letter that they are going to appoint regional chairperson in all 14 regions. And there were some of the...
16th of June?
Yeah, 16th of June. It was 16th of June.
No, we never issued
From...
Okay, anyway, just continue.
Yeah. And there were some of the activists that were not happy with it, apparently because one of the co-founder of AR is in prison. That is Dimburgeni Nauyoma. And... me personally, I reached out to the chairperson of AR, Simon Amnime. And
chairperson of AR?
Yeah. I mean, spokesperson, okay. Yeah. And he said he was not aware. Now, my question is here, is there some infight within the movement on why is the spokesperson of the AR is not even here today?
The head of legal is not here.
They are the spokesperson.
Head of finance is not here. You see, as journalists, you must be very careful about doing bidding for other people. That's why my relationship with journalists is a relationship of respect. I respect journalists because I know today the person can come to you and give you whatever information. We must have a relationship with journalists in such a way that even when the journalist writes something negative about you, you must still be able to recognize those things. That's why you must be very careful. Just like when you become a carrier of things that cannot be verified. For instance, when you were being told on the 16th of June, AR released a letter. It's a pure lie. There is nothing like that. But when you are made a carrier of that, when the person, and this is what we must also speak particularly to our journalists, if Job comes to you and tell you this, ask Job to give you information. Can you please give me a copy of that letter? You understand? Because this is already what becomes a problem. Of course, when you are formalizing, because in the past it will be 5 or 3 people. Now we are talking about the Interim National Activist Council. The decision is no longer by 2 people. It's by 3 or 4. The general rules of the meeting, if you, George, father died last year, in 2020. And then he had to he just said, guys, I need time. He was away for about 3 months or so. But the decisions don't stop because George is not there. It just defies logic. Gainkop, when he's there in Davos on Tuesday, there are cabinet meetings. You think there are no cabinet meetings if George is not there? I'm having family programs. On Friday, I'm leaving town. You think there will be no discussion about the movement? So I'm really imploring journalists so that you and also as activists, I sympathize with journalists that are put in, particularly with young journalists who are put in this. When you speak to politicians, record them. When you are also of course, ethically is that you must indicate and say, I want to tell you that I'm recording this conversation. Because now, all of a sudden, the person that gives you half-cooked information, they are sitting just there because they want you to ask questions. They want you to ask questions and say, see whatever the reaction will be so that they can get that satisfaction. So the REEF program obviously would have problems generally. When you are going to have, in fact, you are going to see more problems when people are going to vote. Activists that are quite very serious. There are some, particularly in the commerce regions here. Some of them have already started in communities, organizing their communities because they know what is going to come. They know that things are not going to be easy. That things are not going to be taken for granted. So we have given you a statement and we have told you that there's an interim governance guideline. It says how decisions are going to be taken, who is going to be taking decisions. That's why we are departing. In the past, there's a program of action. Then we just get, George, can we go? Or who's available? Let's go. Things happen like that. So even if the meeting is called, and then if you are not there, there will be a quorum. A quorum would be met. If the Speaker of Parliament is not there, Lloyd Kasingo is not there, Kajavivi is not there, Lloyd Kasingo would convene the meeting. So it's very important to say that we are now moving, as of the 2nd of June, we moved away from informalities. To move away from informalities to formalities. So, but I think this is not the first time where we experience this type of things like that, but we will be more organized. It's going to be more better to address some of those specific programs. As far as our activists in the regions are concerned, they are very excited in terms of the reef. In fact, we are late.
According to Amupanda, the decisions do not stop because a member is not there. Amupanda said the head of legal and the head of finance did not attend the meeting. In the past, it would be 5 or 3 people. Now we are talking about the interim national council. The decision is no longer by 2 people, it's by 3 or 4 people, he said. Eagle FM asked Amupanda 3 follow-up questions, which he did not respond to directly, but forwarded the reorganization formalization statement. These questions are: did he refuse to be rotated as the councillor at the city of Windhoek to give others a chance to make money? Are you acting alone in the movement without consulting others? The movement announced that Simon Hamunime is the only one who signs off the AR statements. We have seen about 3 statements that he did not sign. What is happening? However, Eagle FM has not received a response from Amupanda at the time of publication. Eagle FM also reached out to political analyst Dumba Kamwanya regarding this.
Political momentums or social movement momentums. So one has to keep in mind that there are various factors that influence excitement at a certain point. So what we have seen is not exception from the AR movement. As you have seen that at the beginning of the movement, when it was set up or established, there were a lot of excitement and there were a lot of momentum on the ground, especially among the young people. And it was influenced by the reality of the times, you know, the unemployment, lack of access to urban land, poverty, and all those kind of things. So momentums in themselves, they do have a life of their own. So they go through certain stages depending on the situation on the ground. So what I can say that what is happening to AR, as some people are saying that it has lost momentum, I don't think so. I think what is happening is that the tactics and the strategy of the movement has shifted in terms of how they are conducting their activism. You can see that they have gone towards more like through legal means, you know, without taking whoever they think violated what they are fighting for to court. So they are not really going through that much of the in the streets and demonstrating and marching as we have seen them at the earlier stage of the movement. So we have seen them that they are working more on the structural strategy, but making sure that they challenge issues of injustice through legal means. So those process in itself, they do not really excite a lot of people as the marching in the streets will do. So that's what we are seeing. I don't think that they have necessarily lost momentum, but I think it's just that the focus of their activism have shifted, and it's more structured, and it's more logically organized, including the component of legal approach.
As a source has told Eagle FM that they had proposed a rotation system for councillors at the city of Windhoek, that is in terms of AR. However, the source said Job shut down this proposal. Do you think this system would have worked in terms of rotating councillors to the city of Windhoek?
I don't know the details of that proposal and the context under which it was proposed. But what I can say is that I don't think that a rotational system will do justice. Unless really it has to be explained what is the logic of that, and I don't know who proposed it. Was it a job or was it other council? But we must also know that job is not AR. AR consists of other players. So sometimes we may confuse a job's position with AR as a collective structure. Yeah, but as I said, I need to look at that proposal to make a very good and informed judgment. But from the surface, I don't think that that is a good arrangement. It seems that it is catering to try to accommodate themselves as politicians to be in those positions, to benefit from the incentive that comes with it when you are a council. So it's really, for me, it's not really different than a job for comrades.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are also getting information within the movement that things are not as it is. Do you think that the top leaders are not as close as they were at the beginning because of money issues?
I don't know. I mean, you have more information in terms of your sources of saying that things are not good as it seems. But, any organization, or rather, in any organization or a party or a social movement, conflicts are abound because you have members that are coming from different backgrounds, orientations, ideologies, and also interests. People join those organizations or parties or movements for various interests, including their own personal interests. So it is bound to manifest itself in the organization. So for that, AR is not an exception. It is not a movement that is completely does not have conflict. Then it's not a movement. Then something is wrong. There has to be some sort of disagreement. Mm-hmm. There has to be some sort of dissatisfaction. It is expected. So I am not surprised if your sources are telling you that things are not they do not seem to be good as they look, because that is the nature of having such a movement and organization or party.
And that is what we're getting right there in regards to the structures at AR and the leader, Japa Mupanda, stating that there is no infight within the movement. It's exactly 23 minutes past the hour of 1. And if you have just tuned in, you are listening to On the Radar on Eagle FM. We are going to the marketplace and we'll be back with more news.
Speak your mind while respecting the opinions of others.
How can you say Namibia was brought on a silver platter when so many people were massacred?
No, that's not what I mean. Mm-hmm. I mean on the silver platter.
In terms of the infrastructure.
Of the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. There were schools, there were roads, there were...
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
To grab that victory against Ivory Coast will be a big one for us. It will be the first.
For social position to raise a child. What does that mean? Baby dumping.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
The commanders say hold fire, they hold fire. When the commander says fire, they fire. You know, they are trained to kill. We are trained to arrest people and bring them before court.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
That's why some of us wear unbranded clothes because it's about selling their product.
So talk on Eagle FM. Eagle FM, the eye.
Hello, Namibia. Welcome to the world of Lela Pay. Lela Pay is an easy-to-use payment and booking mobile app that allows you to send out classified adverts or messages.
The Namibia Financial Students Assistance Fund today has launched an amnesty campaign. My colleague Herta was on the ground and brings us this report.
Namibia Student Financial Assistance Fund, NSFAF acting CEO Kennedy Kandume says the institution is currently owed 7.8 billion Namibian dollars from beneficiaries. Of this amount, he says 5.1 billion is the principal amount, while the interest rate is 2.6 billion Namibian dollars. Kandume said this during the launch of the NSFAF amnesty campaign earlier today in Windhoek.
You might be wondering as to how much are we talking about here? How much will be written off in the interest? Please note that amount due for repayment currently is at 7.8 billion. That now includes both the principal and the interest, of which the principal amount is 5.1 billion. While the interest thereof is 2.6 billion. What this means is that the amount to be written off will be, in total, 2.6 billion Namibian dollar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is worth mentioning that the amount to be waived is a public fund. I need to emphasize that. These were direct subvention of the budget or allocation, and therefore effectively make it a public fund. And as such, we would not have gone this mile to announce the waiving without consulting the ministry responsible for public purse, and that is the Ministry of Finance. It's sufficient to say that we sought authorization from the Ministry of Finance, and I'm happy to announce that that authorization was granted in terms of Section 16, subsection 6C of the State Finance Act, number 31 of 1991. The modality I mentioned also include the consultative process between the two ministries, the Higher Education and the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that the waiving or the implementation of the waiving of interest is done in accordance with the applicable rules and the law that govern the state finance. So in terms of that, we were then given authorization to write off 2.6 billion as a relief. In conclusion, let me state that as a fund, we welcome and support the waiving of interest. I must, however, state that the principal amount remains due and payable. I want to emphasize this. Earlier, I indicated that there was a confusion at the beginning as to what is to be waived. Does this mean the loan, pardonment of loan forgiveness all together? It's not what it means. The principal amount remains due and payable. If you owe NSFAF, you get a reprieve in terms of interest. You are not expected to pay interest, but the principal amount is still due. And therefore, I would like to take this opportunity through the media present here to urge all debtors out there who are gainfully employed and all who are having some form of income to come forth, take this opportunity and settle their debt with NASFA. Is the right things to do. We, but now and then,
Every Audi and VW owner knows the secret, and today we let the cat out of the bag. Global Parts Namibia is your #1 aftermarket parts supplier of choice. We offer a wide range of quality parts for all your German car needs, and our quality is guaranteed. Get exactly what you need for your favorite car brand, Volkswagen and Audi. Quality parts at affordable prices, because we care for you. Global Parts, global reach for best local advice and prices.
We just had to pay the bills, but let's continue the conversation regarding the amnesty period by NASFA.
Informed our debtors through various platforms that this fund was established with the sole purpose of it to function, to provide financial assistance, and also to function as a revolving fund. As you can imagine, the term revolving funds, that whoever benefited ought to repay back or to repay their loan, so that somebody else also benefit. We have urged before the debtors that it is only through repayment that your brothers and sisters who are in secondary school and aspiring to access institution of higher learning can be funded by this institution or by this fund. It suffices again to emphasize that the waiving of interest does not mean debt forgiveness altogether. And it certainly does not mean write-off of all debts. It is the write-off of interest, or abandonment of payment of the interest. I think it goes without saying that with the kind of repayment arrangement that we have, there's no any cheap loan than a cheap and affordable loan than this one. Just imagine you are given a loan for give and take 4 years to pursue study at the institution of higher learning. No interest is applied on those loans. You are also not required to repay while you are studying. You're only required to repay after completion of your study. 4 years, let's say plus a year or so of job search and so on, that money lay idle. No interest applied, no repayment expected. But the moment you find employment, you are then expected to repay. If you take, for those of you who have done, there's a concept called time value of money. By the time you start repaying, basically this loan probably is worth only 50% of the value at the time that it was given to you. So this is really an affordable, and on top of that, other institutions, lending institutions would have compensated that gap with higher interest. But here we are talking about half a prime, 50% of the interest. It's really an affordable, but our calculation revealed that if debtors, over 100 debtors that owe this institution were paying, will probably be only be required 50% from National Treasury. As you can imagine, we're talking about 7.8 billion of debt. If we are to take off interest, we're talking about 5.1 billion. Even if it was just 10% of that, we'll be talking about 500 million. And our new intake on a yearly basis take up an amount equivalent to 500 million. So if Namibians who benefited from this fund were repaying, probably we could only be talking about 900 or 800 million from Treasury on a yearly basis. But as you can imagine, and as you might have heard through the tabling of the national budget, it's 1.4 billion that was allocated to this fund, and probably it's even higher than that. So the repayment or payment of debt is very important for this fund to function as a revolving fund.
The NS5 amnesty period was announced in April this year by President Hage Geingob during his State of Nation address.
We are aware that many NAFS beneficiaries are finding it difficult to pay back their loans due to a scarcity of economic opportunities and other challenges. In this regard, and to provide, maybe in this regard, to provide some relief, I announce an amnesty for the NAF's debt repayment for a period of 12 months.
Kandume cautioned that the waiving of interest does not mean forgiveness of debt. The amnesty campaign will last for a period of 12 months from the 1st of July 2022 to the 31st of June 2023, he said.
That is underpins that the government of the Republic of Namibia is aware that many NASFAF beneficiaries are finding it difficult to pay back their loan due to scarcity of economic opportunities and related challenges. And in order to provide a relief, the President announced an amnesty on interest payment on NASFAF debts. I know there was some confusion as to what is the amnesty all about. It is on the interest payment on NASFAF debt. He further directed that the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, and the Ministry of Finance work out the modalities. We are here to announce those modalities. As directed by His Excellency, the modalities worked out are as follows. There are about 4 of them. 1, interest on all debts that are due and payable, present and historical, will be waived at 100%. This means that all interest accumulated will be written off effectively from the 1st of July 2022. Number 2, all debt paid up to an amount equivalent to principal amount are to be considered as having been redeemed. What that does mean is that if you paid the principal amount awarded to you as a loan, and you probably were saving interest, that loan will be deemed as having been repaid fully. This will apply irrespective of whether the paid up was made before or during the amnesty, meaning that even if during the period of amnesty you come forth and settle the principal amount, your debt would be deemed as having been fully repaid or settled. If you have been paying and you were only left with few amount on the principal amount, as soon as you settle that principal amount, that debt will be considered as having been fully repaid. Amnesty period will run effectively from the 1st of July 2022, as I indicated earlier, to the 30th of June 2023, for the period of 12 months as directed by His Excellency. So the amnesty that we are talking about has got a time period to it, which is 12 months, from 1st of July this year to the 30th of June next year. It is important, however, to note that the new interest will start afresh as from the 1st of July 2023 and will be applied in accordance with individual debtors' contractual obligation. In this regard, interest will apply to outstanding balance as from the 1st of July 2023. What does this mean is that if your debt is not settled by 1st of July next year, it will start to accumulate interest, but new interest. The old one will be written off, waived, as directed by His Excellency. But as we all know, there's a cost to borrowing. That cost is interest, and it will start next year, 1st of July. If you take advantage of this opportunity and settle your debt, no interest will be charged whatsoever. It also, maybe I should also mention here that interest applied here is half of the prime. As you can imagine, this debt is already made affordable to beneficiaries. Half prime, if prime is 7.5, we are talking about 3.75 somewhere there. I think you do the math. So it's already heavily subsidized loan, so to speak.
In October last year, NSFAF said around about 52,000 student loan defaulters will see their names in local newspapers countrywide, as NSFAF has vowed to come for what is owed. The publishing of names will be followed by appropriate legal actions, NSFAF had said in a statement on its social media platforms, after struggling for over a decade to get loan holders to pay back the money. At that time, NSFAF had decided to go public with all the names of those who owed the fund money, and the first 2,000 names were set to be published in the same month. At that time, Kandume said the defaulters have left them no other choice but to go public. In less than a week in October, about 228 defaulters reported to NSFAF to pay their debts as the fund threatened to obtain court orders to go after defaulters' assets. The NSFAF has for years been struggling to collect the funds they have lent to over 52,000 former students, which is why it has now opted to expose defaulters in the media. Reports at the time showed that the fund is owed 5.2 billion Namibian dollars by former students. The NSFAF has funded 131,000 Namibians from the year 1997 to 2019 and has spent 7.5 billion Namibian dollars on loans and grants.
And that is what we're getting right there from NSFAF as they launched their amnesty period, which will run until next year, July. And this is in terms of the payment being paid back to NSFAF for those who have taken loans via a NSFAF. And it is exactly 43 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. And now in other news, Albinism Association opposes bail for persons arrested in connection with attempting to sell hair of individuals living with albinism. My colleague Rudolph takes us through this report.
Front of Katutura Court to oppose granting of bail of two men, Fredis Masiku and Obrine Liwelu, who were arrested after asking a person living with albinism to sell them his hair.
Yeah, what happened today is that we organized the peaceful demonstration where we joined by all the people, the organization of people with disability in Namibia. So we met at the single quarter where we marched escorted by the police to the Katutura Magistrate Court. So our purpose was to hand over our petition to the magistrates to oppose not to be for them not to give a bail. So the court was already proceeding. They already appeared in the court for the second time, and their case was postponed to the 28th of July this year. So pending on their legal aids. So because the magistrate told them that their case was ready and it is ready for trial. So therefore, on 28th, the case the trial is ready on 28th of July.
The two were arrested on the 18th of February 2022 in Windhoek after approaching a person living with albinism, asking him to sell them his hair. The
okukengwa kovalumenu ohakunenepeke oukoshoki nokuninipike kwatolo mikithi edi haditandavele okupitila momilele mwakwatelwa hiv okukengwa okoshali kwokwaamenwa ounlumenu fikama ukakengwe okulishangifa ekengo lovalumenu loshali ile okuuda uuyelele wawetwapo tumo whatsapp konomola 081 309 222 ile utalele kwepanja letu lo Facebook komalungu lako VMMC Namibia.
named person with albinism then reached out to the Namibian Albinism Association, which then tipped off the police about the offer. The police then set up a sting operation that led to the men's arrest. Namibia Albinism Association leader Joseph Dinompza said that the incident reached their office and it was a shocking news. Dinompza said this is the first case they have had in Namibia. He said, and I quote, "We only used to hear this from other countries such as Malawi and Tanzania. We always hear that our albinism brothers and sisters are being killed in other countries and their body parts are being cut off for ritual and some witchcraft practices." Wade Kampabi, the vice president of Namibia Albinism Association, claimed that the people living with albinism want to know who is behind such a business and what kind of business they do. According to Kampabi, the two men offered to buy the albino hair for 1 million. Kampabi said their members want the judiciary to know that there are such people who buy albinism hair and toes. He also said that the culprits should be punished harshly as an example to others. He said, and I quote, "We are happy this people's case was postponed. We want the judiciary to be harsh on them until they reveal what they do with our body parts. We don't want to live in the society with fear." A member of the association, Helene Matthew, said that the incident affected her as she is not comfortable being approached by unknown people. Matthew narrated that her father told her to be careful with people out in the world when she was young. She said the environment is not safe for the people living with albinism anymore. She said, and I quote, "I was approached by many men telling me that I would be lucky to get a job if I sleep with you. I don't know what the future holds for us. This is so scary. Imagine now everyone is approaching you to be their girlfriend, but maybe they don't love you. They just want something from you." Speaking with the chairperson of National Federation for People with Disability in Namibia, Matthew Hashongo, said that stigma around people with disability in Namibia is still high.
Actually, we are in a unitary state and we are all declared that we are equal before the law, regardless of whether you are a person with disability or not. So in this case now, as we are talking, persons with disabilities are a bit excluded in different policies and in different practice or legal practice or acts or something. So we are excluded in many because we are not counted that we are not special people, but we do have certain specialities that we need also some specialities in the legal frameworks. Therefore, as a person with disability, we still feel that even though we are the persons, even though we are equal before the law, that we need we need to incorporate some we need to incorporate some protections, more extra miles, especially to the persons with disabilities.
People with disabilities, especially with albinism, there are still stigmas around this from different people in their societies. And at some point we even met some parents who are saying they don't even hang around with their kids because of the stigma of their society. Your view on this?
As I am saying that there is no incorporations of certain measures to protect against the stigma, against the discriminations whatsoever. So we feel that we are suffering. Persons with albinism, specifically, are suffering because of stigma. You know, previously we heard that there are some of the told us or that were killed by their mothers due to their natures, but now there is nothing really protecting the interest of albinism. If I may to reference, like Malawi and Kenya and Tanzania, they incorporated the much protections, especially on disabilities, especially on this practice of selling the body parts of persons with disability. I mean, more specifically with albinism. Therefore, people with albinism are not free wherever they are, because in their locations or in their villages, they are called bad names. They are being called or they are referred by their skin color or whatsoever, which means that stigma is still at high alert in Namibia. So there is nothing really prohibit those people or protect those people against against that stigmatizations. You understand? So that's why we are saying that we need a lot to do. We need to pull out some socks again so that we can incorporate and so that we can protect, so that we can also create safe environment, not only against mutations or whatsoever, but against also this discriminations. That's why I stood to say we need a national disability act, so that we can incorporate some of these things, so that it can protect also the interest. You know, if a person now I'm called by my name, there are those people that are making fun of our musician, our brave person, like Nakale, whosoever with a white skin or with a albinism, you will be called that you are Nakale, you are referred to him, which means that there is no one really, there is no one that, I mean, there is no legal practice that is protecting that thing, but how that person will be affected. That person will be affected emotionally and social. That person is really affected badly, because that person will just feel that no, we are not welcomed, or we are not good, or we are not what. That person will start developing some egos or some other bad feelings, or sometimes it can cause even high palpitations and so on due to that name callings and so on. Yes.
Today you are standing here at Katutura Court. Can you just probably brief us of why are you here today and what happened exactly?
So actually we came, remember that on the 18th of March 2022, there was those guys, the two suspects that were trying to buy the hairs, also the nails and other parts of persons with albinism. Remember now, they were arrested and they are still in custody. Today we came here so that our voice can be heard. We came here to pour out our cries to the justice system. We came to say that no justice, as long as the case is not finalized or whatsoever, or the investigations is not done, so those people, they should remain in the custody. Actually, what we are demanding, we want the person who sent them, because the suspects are saying that they are being sent. We want to know who those persons who sent those people and for what reason, really, which was not really explained in the court. I believe it will be explained better on the day of the trial, which is on the 28th of July. So that's why we are saying that we want to demand justice. We want the government also to consider that our cries, how our safety, we want really to express that we are not safe anymore. We need extra mile, we need extra forces so that they can protect the victims. You understand? That is what we are saying, that we came here to show the court that we are in solidarity with the victim. We came to express saying that we don't want any injustice so to be served or or any favor or whatsoever. There is no one is beyond the law. We need justice too. We need transparency of this case. That's why we came to exercise, so that we can stood in front of magistrates to see our masses as we stood in the court today. That is what we want the court to see, that there are those people that are against this practice in Namibia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
And that is what we're getting from the Albinism Association of Namibia in terms of opposing bail for the two men who were arrested in connection with attempting to sell people living with albino in terms of their hair. And that is what we're getting there. It's exactly 6 minutes to the hour of 2. You are listening to On the Radar on Eagle FM. We'll be right back. We are heading to a commercial break, and we'll be back with more news.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
This is actually, to put it mildly, an economic scandal.
Fraud. So
Not fraud, it's a scandal. Why do you give a tender to somebody who does not have capacity to build? Why should you do that? You know a person that does not have a capacity to build.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
That's why I'm always telling people in Parliament, let me not take up my Katatura manners.
Right.
Because I grew up in Katatura. And I will not hesitate to tell you off if it is needed to.
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
My response in terms of Rwanda at 6% is that we had been there before. We've had 6% growth before. It's not something that Namibia has not achieved in the past, and it's not something that Namibia will not be able to achieve in the future.
Eagle FM, the eye.
Welcome back. Now, in the capital at Monte Cristo in Katutura, street vendors were evicted by the police earlier this morning, and there was a commotion at Monte Cristo. My colleague Rudolph was there on the ground. Good afternoon, Rudolph. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Justicia. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can you just take our listeners through what transpired for the street vendors to be evicted from the Monte Cristo service station, if I'm not mistaken? If I understand it's somewhere close to the service station. Just take us through that update.
Yeah, it's happened today in the main road of Monte Cristo, just there by the robots. They were where the street vendors used to do their business. Apparently, they were told in the past that that place it's a place owned by the owner of engine service at Monte Cristo, and he was not happy with them doing business there. So he wanted them out, or he wanted them to move away. But according to them, they were permitted to sell there by the former mayor, Miss Francina Kahungu, when she was a mayor of Windhoek. She was there, and she permitted them to do their business there, and she also made it clear to them that that particular place does not belong to the manager of the service station, as he claimed. But today they were evicted by the city police and some official from municipality. Apparently, the reason what they are saying from the municipality of Windhoek, they are saying from the municipal of Windhoek, they are saying they are tired of being pressured by the owner of the service. Apparently, the owner of the service always go to the municipality and order them to chase to evict the people. And this particular people are saying some of them, they said they have been there ever since 1978. They've been doing their business there. That's their source of income. They have no other way to go. And apparently the municipality the manager suggested that they should go and gather somewhere or do their business somewhere, but where they were told to go, it's quite far, and there are no customers there, and that's the reason they are refusing to go. And they said the manager of the service is kind of probably jealous of them, but due to the fact apparently he's not making money, and he feels like they are taking the street vendors are taking his customers or clients, so to say. But they are saying most of their customers are not even from the service, but they are actually coming from the nearby mall, because there's like a mall where the group of shops, ShopRite is there, and other shops. They are saying now their customers are from that place, but not actually at the service. Yeah, that's what we got from them.
Yes, and have they indicated what is the way forward? Are they now, as you have mentioned, they are now moved to a nearby location at Monte Cristo?
They did not actually moved. They refused to go there. They were just the place is being fenced off now by the
city police.
Yeah, by the city police. And when I was there, the city police is still there, and they don't want to negotiate. I was also I wanted to find out from the city police and from the municipality officials, but they said they don't talk to media.
They refuse to speak.
Yeah, they refuse to speak, and they are just standing there. And these other people, they were told to stand on the other side. Now the street vendors, they are like they are braai stands. They are still there.
Yes, I saw from the videos they are braai stands and their structures with the stuff.
So now they were even asking. So now that you fence the place, how are we going to get our things? And so there's no clear answer from them. They were also when I was on the ground, they were also trying to call the mayor now of Windhoek, and I was also trying to call her to find out from her, but she said she couldn't speak at that moment. She texted me that she couldn't speak at that moment, so we couldn't reach out to her. In future, I mean, probably after this, I'm going to call them back and get a new update of what is going on so far. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Rudolph, for taking us through that update at Monte Cristo in Katutura regarding the street vendors being evicted. We are just going to a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
The first free-range eggs produced and packaged in Ondangwa, Walenga eggs, are now available in 6s and 18s. These fresh free-range eggs are produced daily and have a shell life of over 28 days. Now listen up. Free-range eggs are the most nutritious and organic eggs available for human consumption. Just yummy. We at Walenga Eggs also want to give every Namibian an opportunity to own a share in our value chain. So if you want to sell or distribute Walenga Eggs, call Omalaiti Foods at 0811 27 3622 or 0811 660707. This is a first for Namibia. Walenga Eggs, the great white.
Hello Namibia. Endera pamanatse muyuni wolela pay. Lela pay onkaro ompu wa mafutiro nokuthitha ngoka hagu ningwa pamukalo gongodhi hoka to vulu okutuminako omatumwalaka goye agehe naangoka gopaipindi notaga dhanwa nokutulwa mombepo ethimbo olyo tuu ndyoka. Oto vulu okuninga shike kolela pay. Oto vulu okutula omatumwalaka goye mombepo to longitha oka-epa ko Eagle FM nenge ka Imba nenge hoka ka Lela Pay nenge wutule moshifo sho The Villager niikwawo ya gwedhwapo. Oto vulu okuninga omafutilo goye. Oto vulu ishe okutulako omatumwalaka goye giinima ya yooloka ngaashi omatumwalaka goluhodhi, omatumwalaka gomahiyo, omatumwalaka gomahalelo yambeko gomavalo nomatumwalaka gokwalukehe ngoka wa hala wutseyithile oshigwana ashihe shomo Namibia okuza owala $3.50 metumwalaka kehe. Lela Pay ohalongo ngiini? Konga oka-epa ko Lela Pay ko Play Store nenge ko App Store.
Employees of CIS Security Services in Katima Mulilo say they have been issued final warning letters after planning a demonstration over their delayed salaries. The Namibia Transport and Allied Workers Union Natal Regional Coordinator Alex Taimo confirmed this to Eagle FM. He said that the move by the company could be taken as an intimidation tactic to silence the employees. He also said employees have not received their salaries for May. The demonstration, which has been planned for Tuesday morning, has been delayed.
That the workers, like for CIC, their date of payment every month is supposed to be on the 25. But this one, the workers, they went through on this matter. Now I say every now and then, unless the workers they can calm down, is where they come and then they can come in. They're running up and down to get money. So it's not happening now. It's long due. That's why currently now, to cut the story short, that's why they say, the workers must wait out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, as we've spoken, like the one which you called me for last, whatever, for Saturday. Only I got those letter, that information into the workers. I asked the company, how come up that is this worker they want to, they wrote a letter, they're requesting their money for whatever, for pending money, let me say salary for May. Then you give them a letter final written warning. Then that's why I say, let us talk on Monday. Then that's why I'm cutting short that today they're supposed to get their salary. But so now I'm talking now, they say they postpone that. No, where they're supposed to get salary, where they are rendering services, they not pay they not pay the company. Then maybe they must pay the what tomorrow. So now as I was talking to you when I was communicating with the number, I said, no. For that one tomorrow we are tired. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the short, the short which I have to give you.
Okay. So they are owed salaries for which month?
They are owing a salary for May. You know that now is June, eh?
Yeah.
Then every month they are supposed to be paid on the 25. But there is a weakness from the company side. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were not paid. They were not paid in May, the 25th of May, and also the 25th of June. They were not paid.
The salary for May, they're supposed to be paid 25th June.
Okay.
Like now, every on the 26th, they're starting another new month.
Okay.
Yes. That is scenario here. But that's what I'm telling you, the background of the whatever, of the story. They're never to be honored. Or the work has to be respected.
Yeah.
That is the scenario which is there.
Yeah. Now.
So that's why I wanted to let me brief you a little bit so that maybe you can get the picture.
Yeah. No, I get it. Now there is the issue that some of the employees of is it CIS? Yeah, they are planning now to hold a demonstration to express their views or their dissatisfaction, and some of them have informed us that now the company has written them warning letters as a final warning for them, which some of them they are taking as a kind of intimidation from the company not to engage in this demonstration. As the union that represents them, what can you tell us about this? What exactly is happening there?
No, that's what, Andrew. It's true what you are saying. You cannot intimidate someone if he's asking what's right. Because as the Saran, we normally say it's a dispute of right, not a dispute of interest. You get what I'm saying? Then, like now, the company, there's a point there to tell the workers that no, sorry for us. Let's give us 1 week altogether. It's not only to, like you are threatening someone, you are making someone to afraid altogether. It's also like, for example, you are Andrew, you are owing him, you owe him $10, isn't it? Okay. He could also say that no, me I must pay you that $10 which I'm owing to you. You get what I'm saying? But you know when you are asking, then I must use those serious ways because if you are going to do that one, what instead of me, I must be humble because I'm a Twitter person. I understand. Yeah, so that one, this is not like this one. It's not wherever you go, it's not clear because the company they're supposed to respect workers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now they know it is them who put it that one. That's why I'm saying that even that number which I gave you are going to ask the owner of the company, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is them because we are having this agreement. This is them to say we CIC to pay our worker every month on the 25th. So you as an employer, according to that labor law, like section 11, What we are supposed to do, if they see that there's no money, maybe they delay to get money from the client, then you would try to come nicely to employee instead of making them intimidation. It is fair. That's why I told him this morning in the company that it's unfair, that one. And within these letters, those workers, they can even take up to court because like they are trying to make intimidation and the defamation of character. We as a union for that one, my brother, to tell you the truth, we are not happy. That's why we have this morning 2 sessions. We had workers, morning time when I told them that I cannot do whatever because I must call them. That's why I had a meeting with the workers, all of them who work tonight. I called them to my office, they come here to my office, 7:30, we had a meeting. 10 o'clock, I did that meeting and finished one, what I told you. That's why I said that let me engage again shop forward. Then now there's a meeting of that one because we were expecting to get the money. They were saying that with 2 o'clock or whatever, we are going to get the money. Now they are telling that nothing happened. Only to say when I call the owner of the company, say tomorrow. You see that it's true tomorrow? You see that one?
Yeah.
So we are having a doubt. Like we say, people they can demonstrate or people they can make it stay away until when you solve that problem. Yes.
Okay. Maybe.
That's why this one NBC and Media Broadcasting they called me and said that nothing which you preach and change now. Yeah, the stay away or so called is not yet dissolved because we only are busy with between the company. Maybe they can solve this problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
but
in terms
now, that's why the owner of the company called me and said, no, I was supposed to get my money today, but I'm still waiting my money tomorrow. Whether we can pay the workers. So that's what I'm saying. To me, we cannot interfere in that way to stop the workers not to exercise whatever their rights. Yes.
So is that what came out of your meeting with the owner of the company that you had this morning? That he's saying that he's waiting for his money. What else came out of that meeting?
Yes, even that one was started in the last week Thursday. Okay. Last week Thursday, after getting the complaint from the member that the company they are not treating us every month. That's why we give the company that please, we are requesting that if it is possible, can we pay our salary on the 25th according to the company policy? So that promise came from our last year. We started last week, there maybe 2 meetings. Yes. That's why I thought, don't accuse workers. Workers is their right. Only that's why they use this word request. When they can request, they are requesting what is normally happening. Unless when they are asking, while the procedure of the salary, a worker he cannot, already. Like now you are waiting. You cannot say your employer you must go and ask that. You must go and ask him. I must be paid. The law total is not like that way. Because the employer must play the party. Like the employee who plays the party. You must work, the employer must refund you. Must remunerate you. That is the fees which is there.
Okay. In terms of... Okay, no, continue.
No, what I'm saying, those are meeting fee, until they will continue like that. Really, workers see for that treatment, they are not happy.
Yeah. In terms of the letters that were written to the employees, the warning letters, with some of them getting their final warning from the company because they want to demonstrate, what came out of the meeting? Did you inform the employer on this issue, and what came out of that meeting in regards to that?
Definitely, if it is the owner, if you went to ask him, he make like an apology. Because I asked them that give me the proper reason. Meaning if they fail to give me the proper reason, with that particular person, he must make an apology. You understand? I say, give me the proper reason. There are 2 reasons. How did you come up, you as a company, to give me to give these workers this final written warning. Because this letter which I'm having is not like a verbal warning or whatever. It's a final written warning handle. It is very much serious letter. Then the owner of the company say, no, say what the error. Then you tell them to wait. That one is not going to happen. I said, but that one is still ringing there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the story here now.
Okay. Okay. On the issue of because we do understand that there is a strike or a demonstration that is still planned for Tuesday. What can you tell us? Is that still going ahead? And how many employees are affected?
Let me say the strike or demonstration will stay away. It still remains unchanged. Because that's what I'm saying. We tried these 3 meetings. Only promise. So as I'm talking with you now, the workers they are trying to call me because I cannot answer them. Maybe there's something from the company there. I'm supposed to be there, so I cannot be there. Let the management to address you what is the thing which is heading now. So to me, I'm waiting you guys. I must come there right up to the CIC. Because they must meet me at the CIC offices. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then that's what I'm saying. It cannot. No one who can change it now. The strike when we are planning the strike, you must have unless you get the right people, right feedback. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, like we as a union, we cannot say you workers you cannot make a stay away. That's why we say all of them one time they are coming there. Whether they're sitting there for 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours, until when the employee come up with the what do they need to just get started? Yes. That's why we like that this letter. That's why we are saying now is a information of character. Employer he cannot write such kind of that letter.
Yeah.
Yes. And then maybe tomorrow I can send you one copy. Then you can say that this is the company that are not serious.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand. Maybe. I just wanted to ask, just lastly, how confident are you as the union that's representing these workers that should they then show up in the morning and have this demonstration, that they will not be fired like this warning is giving, like the warning that they were given, or this letter is sort of kind of suggesting?
The assurance, that's why we had the meeting 7:30 this morning. You understand?
Yeah.
They came and confirmed to me. The announcement which I put yesterday on the weekend, because so that to come and prove to them. They told me that we cannot go back. We will be here, our plan, until when we get the right answer.
Yeah.
So currently now, the workers, the workers which I had this morning, plus minus 19, who came to work nights. So now the workforce, the one who was filling this form of, if you want to make a demonstration, stay away. We have to make the format of whatever, filling the form. They are 46. But the 3/4 of them, they are working outside. Because of medical transportation, they cannot make it. Yes. So that is not the which is that. The assurance, they came this morning. Now as I'm talking to you, they were busy calling me. So there's nothing which we receive here. Tomorrow our plan will be there. Whether the company they are going to fire us, we are not afraid for that one. There are some things, yes.
Yeah.
Because they are fighting for their right, for their right. Then we can see that if all of them, let me say for 6 or 20, if they can dismiss them tomorrow, because of their rights which they are demanding or which they are requesting, then let the law take it in the court. Then we can face this matter to the office of the local commissioner. Which you bring out that it's an fake dismissal. Because it's not only first day, maybe you've been hearing in CIS, or country-wise, you know about that one.
Yeah.
Yes, you know about that one. It's not the same thing. So that's what I'm saying, the assurance, my brother, is there. Saying that tomorrow, unless maybe, I don't know, between me, because me, I'm independent person like it. I am their representative. But if they say the situation like this one, as I'm telling you that we normally ask the Ministry of what's called this NAMPO, if we have to stay away to come and take us, and if there's any information like this NDC, we normally inform them. But this day, there's even representative. So as I'm talking to you, I did not even call them to cancel. Because if I put to get the member to get the salary, then is where I can say, no, comrade, thank you very much to listen to me, whatever, but now, that thing is already been solved because the workers, they go to their salary.
Yeah.
That's how we are extending it tomorrow. Let us call a day for tomorrow. Now when I'm talking to you like I'm in a darkness, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's why the workers, we feel that we cannot stop this day away. Let the worker to come, as they call them, that will come on the whatever, on the company level. I say, fine, I will join you, I'll get you there.
The manager of CIS Security, Owen Sifu, says that the company has been experiencing a delay in salary payments. However, he said the employees are aware.
Truly speaking, it's not even the way the things are being said. Yeah, because, when we as a company, we are paid by another source. So if we are paid by another source, we also have to wait. So those people, or let me say our workers, we used to tell them that our delayment, it can be either from the source where we are getting the money. So like for now, we were having a problem with our accounts and somehow like that. So we managed even to talk to our workers and letting them know about the situation. So I think that story of a demonstration, I don't think it's going to be there.
Yes. And was there ever an issue like this where payments were delayed, or is this the first time?
There was let me not lie, there was an issue, but we tried to talk to them. Yeah, but we explained to them, some of them.
So not all employees were explained that their payments would be late?
Come again?
You said you explained to some of them about the payments being late.
We explained to some of them because we are having some other workers outside town and inside. So we usually communicate with people who are inside and deliver the message with our own vehicles and transport to other sites.
When you explained to these workers that the payment will be late, what was the agreement?
The problem with our workers, I don't think maybe they used to understand. They turn our backs and go to the union, and they report us we are refusing to pay the workers, somehow like that. So the communication is the problem between us and the workers. So when we give them the source that they must hold this source, or they must know that this is the company or the problem, or the company is facing this problem, they must be aware of it because we used to tell them. Yeah, so that demonstration, I don't know about it because I'm even with the chairperson of the union here at my office is still here because we are still waiting to pay them now. We are paying them today because the date, we chose a date of 25. So, if it's 25, some other people may don't want to be in the office, so they will not process the payment. Some of the people, they can be in the office on the 25th or 26th, so it's not us. That's why I was saying the source that are paying us, sometimes they can delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for speaking to Eagle FM.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In other news in Kunene region,
Kunene Nampol's regional commander, Commissioner James Derura, has expressed discontent on the overcrowdedness at the Opua prison, stating that incomplete investigations and delayed prosecutions are contributing to the growing prison population, a scenario he said is also being expressed all over the country. Derura told Eagle FM in a recent interview that the overcrowdedness of the cell is becoming a national concern, one that requires swift and bold intervention to safeguard the country's prison system stability. According to the regional commander, Opuo prison accommodate more than 50% of the required capacity.
The overcrowdedness of the cells, that is a national concern. It's not only in Kunene. Although the cell capacity of Opuo is made for 30 people, but now we have more than 80, 85. It is over with 53 inmates. But it's a national concern, national problem. It's not only in Opuo.
Furthermore, Derura refuted assertions published in the New Era newspaper last month titled Ombudsman Declares Opuo Halting Cells Condition, in which Basilius Jakunga stated that the inmates are living in poor conditions coupled with lack of adequate water, adding that inmates are at times forced to collect water in plastic bottles from outside taps. However, Derura said that even though the situation at the prison is worsening, there are no inmates that collect water outside the premises.
That one is unfounded story. We have enough water, the cell, water running in the cells, and also the food is also enough. We don't have a problem with the feeding of inmates at this point in time.
He further said that the overcrowdedness is not entirely a matter of the police, but the Ministry of Justice as well, in terms of cases handling, prosecution, and bail hearings, including delays of lawyers.
Those things are not in our hands. The matter before court is just a matter of justice, Ministry of Justice. It's not the police for us to finalize those cases. We arrest, take them to court, we investigate, we finalize our investigation, then the court had to deal with these people. But the way you say that, it is also true. People who have been in the cell for more than 7 months, 80 months for their lawyers. Sometimes the delay also comes from the lawyers. Some are applying for the Ministry of Justice, and these things are taking time.
The Gulene region has a total of 6 holding cells, one in Kamanyap, Okangwati, Oisho, and Korihas. Derura also said that the Opuo holding cells accommodate inmates from various police stations in the region, thus resulting in the overcrowdedness as well.
And also, what you have to know that the holding cell in Opuo is a fitting cell to all police stations like Fontaine, the cells where Ochondeka or Muramba, all were to be transported to Opuo. That is the main reason. Because there's no cells at other police stations which I mentioned earlier.
Moreover, Derura mentioned that one of the main reasons for the overcrowdedness is the insufficient holding cells for minors, as they cannot be accommodated with adults. This resulting in more inmates sharing one cell, paving way for minors and female inmates.
The other problem is also, on the other hand, is also the minors. You cannot put the minors among the adult people. Therefore, most of the time, maybe there are 2 minors or 3, and also we have to reserve 1 cell for the female, and we having only 6 cells. Out of those 6, we have to reserve 2 for minor and also for female offenders.
The region will soon get a new regional police headquarters, according to Derura, which will in turn help get the overcrowdedness at the region's holding cells.
Because we are hosted by the Opuo police station, now they are busy constructing Kunene regional headquarters, and it will probably, according to the last site meeting, before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, the executive director of the judiciary, Bernard Kukuri, says there are various factors that play a role in this and that it is difficult to pinpoint who the main cause of the delays of prosecution is.
But in the value chain of the whole criminal justice system, there are many various actors and players who play a different role. Our role at the judiciary, and at that point is the magistrate who runs that court there, they work on the cases that are brought before them.
So prosecutors and prosecution make sure that the police investigate the cases are ready, and then if they are ready for trial, then they are brought before the magistrate to educate on the matter and then make a determination whether the person is guilty or not guilty, etc., etc. So it's always difficult to pinpoint on who's the main cause of the delays in the prosecution or in the processing of justice in the court. So if a person come, maybe they don't have legal aid, then the case is deferred, or in order to have a lawyer at the courtroom. Maybe the court, their lawyer, they have private lawyers, then the lawyer is not available. They have to reschedule, they have to postpone. The person is sick that morning. There's many other factors that are adding to that story developing. So one cannot say it's maybe the police. Police cannot say it's the prosecution. Prosecution cannot say it's the magistrate. Magistrate cannot say it's the legal aid or whatever. So, but it's a value chain, and one has to do a further study to understand how many cases we have there. What are the delays? What are the reasons for delays? Why are they postponed? And how many have been postponed for when and how? So it will be a bit difficult just out of the blue now for me to give you an answer, unless we validate on the ground there and talk to the colleagues, the magistrates there, and everybody, and validate what is the story.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a national problem. We have backlogs in our lower courts. So that is a known thing. It was raised by the Chief Justice also at the beginning of this year in the legal year opening. We are working on that now to try to reduce the backlog, because as the President has said, justice delayed is justice denied. So the system must be efficient, the throughput must be there. When cases are ready, they must be brought before the magistrates or the judicial officers, and they must pronounce themselves on the matter.
All right.
But if there is a genuine concern that there are unnecessary delays, well, this is a country ruled by the rule of law. Those who feel they are aggrieved, they feel the system is not coming up to speed, they can raise their complaint to the ombudsman, or they can file a case somewhere where they can bring whoever is perpetuating these things to book.
That is what we're getting right there in Kunene. It's exactly 31 minutes past the hour of 2, and I can now say that my time here with you has come to an end, and that wraps up our news bulletin for the day. And I'll now cross over to my colleague Eba in the Ondangwa studio to take you through some Oshuambo news. But for me and Balde and Herta in the studio, we'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Hello.